So you here because you probably have been thinking about or want to start a podcast, and you're trying to figure out how, where to start, what to talk about, what equipment do I need, how do I show up on camera, or I've tried and started it, how do I keep it going and things like that. So if that's you, then this first course is definitely for you, because with any good plan, first thing you need is to focus on ideation. And so the idea around the thing that you want to talk about. But before I go into that, my name is Paris. I've helped organizations and individuals start podcasts over the last 8 years, 9 years. So from ideation to post, I help with all technical elements of it, as well as how to show up on camera if your podcast is a video podcast, because not all podcasts are. And so I'm basically here to help you get started first with this course. And so I like to start off talking about sustainability, because for most people, podcasting, if you're looking to do it, the average person is doing it as a side thing because of their interests. And I think that no matter if you're a creator, a business person, whatever it is, if you create art, music, you have a talent, you provide a service, or you create a product, having a podcast is going to help what you do grow exponentially, because without getting too deep into marketing, after people are aware that you have a thing you do, the best way to be able to engage those people and have them become, because the goal is to get your thing out there to people and then have them continue to return to you for that service or product that you provide. And so that's how you create a sustainable business, whatever that is, whatever is built around. And so in order to do that, you have to be able to keep people in that consideration stage of what's called a marketing funnel, because in that consideration stage, they're making internal decisions about whether or not they trust you, whether or not they believe your authority on whatever it is, or if what you do solves a problem for them. In that consideration stage, that's all of the things that are happening with them psychologically. And so what a podcast does is help provide a platform for you to talk about those things and invite a community of people to hear kind of like the inside stuff as to what it is that you're doing. And as they get to know what it is that you're doing and who you are, they will decide for themselves if they believe that what you are creating actually helps them or benefits them. And so marketing is not about hopping all up in people's face and, texting everybody about something that's part of it. But it's really about creating something that's intended on actually solving a problem that people have. And the first thing in actually venturing out to do anything, you have to ask the question is, does this thing serve others? Does it serve others? Because in thinking about sustainability, people will always need help solving problems. People are going to always need help, fixing issues and things like that. So if you have a product or service and you're looking to start a podcast around it, then it has to be the nature of what it is you're talking about, whether it's relationships, whether it's food, entertainment, sports. Does it serve others? And with all of those that I listed, that has to do with entertainment or education or help, whatever it is that you're looking to serve people with through what it is that you create, has to be evident at the beginning of what it is that you're doing. Okay? How does it serve others? If you don't know that the answer to that question, that's worth doing the work to actually be able to answer that, because when you do venture out there and you do begin to meet people, who are interested in the thing that you do because they heard about it somehow, possibly through, a podcast, then you need to actually be able to serve them with what it is that you create. And so if you can answer that question, then you'll be good. What is it that I do that serves others that's worth talking about on this podcast? And then the second one is it has to have a bit of financial benefit. It has to have financial benefit in order to be sustainable, right? If you have a 9 to 5 or regular, whatever kind of job, podcasting, if you're in the beginning stages of it, you're going to have to kind of have an idea of how it could benefit you financially. And it's not, there's so many elements to podcasts, and so much of it can be monetized. And I won't talk about that in this course, but in the courses to come, we'll talk about how to monetize in at least 20 different ways podcasts. And I know when people are getting ready to start off something, they all, I hear a lot of people say, well, there's so much noise, there's so much this, and there's so much that. People starting podcasts. No, there's a lot of people talking about starting a podcast, maybe. And there's maybe a lot of people, you're seeing a lot of podcasts pop up, but not a lot of people are doing them, and not a lot of people know how to sustain them. And so if you can be one of those ones who can actually do it and sustain it, you can actually be on the front of something that's becoming more and more bigger, and has become bigger since the pandemic. And so I think it's important to note that, again, it has to have these elements of anything, any good thing that you plan on doing that speaks to a way you want to help people, also has to speak to passion. So it has to be something you're passionate about. I like to say, speaks to passion. Because if it speaks to passion or something you love doing, or you found that you love doing, and it gives energy back to you, the more and more you do it, the more and more you're involved in it, it flows back into you in a way that allows you to continue on doing it. That's sustainability. That's self-sustaining. And so what happens a lot of times, we want to talk about this thing or that thing because we want to create a podcast, and that's fine. But it should be on things that actually matter to you. So if you have these 3 ingredients, then you're really on a good foot to be able to start a podcast to create a community around what it is that you're doing. If you're a business person, this is going to be like really, really good for you, and actually creating awareness and consideration for your products or service. And if you're a creator, if you're a content creator, whatever it is, all of these things go into actually being successful, whether online or in person, with whatever it is that you're doing. And a podcast is the best way to get people from that consideration stage. Just becoming one of the most popular ways to do it, to move people from the consideration stage down to that conversion stage of a marketing or sales funnel. And if you don't know what that is, stay tuned. I'll be doing more videos on that. Every business, everything that's ever been ventured out on has a marketing funnel, whether it knows it or not, and whether it's efficient or not. Those things can be measured and monitored and changed and helped if you understand where it is customers flow in from, and how you plan on getting traffic to the thing that you're creating. So that's all this course is going to be on so far. If you can answer these 3 questions, then you might have these not really questions, but you can identify these things. Does your thing serve others? Does it have a potential financial benefit for you from either creating or helping somebody else create a podcast? And does it speak to something that you're passionate about? Are the first 3 things that you want to kind of stir the pot with when you're getting ready to go out there. Because a lot of people might tell you, go out there and buy a microphone, like this clip-on microphone that I have right now, you can get for cheap on Amazon. Some people might, and then a light also, fairly expensive, inexpensive setup that I have here. But before doing any of that, you have to think about why it is that you want to do this, because you want it to be something that can continue on. And not that you'll not change and pivot, but you want to hone in on something that helps people, that is valuable to them, that they can find value in, either through education or entertainment. And information, but information is a little bit different. It has a few different other moving parts that have to be considered. But if you're into entertaining content that's entertaining, or creating something that's entertaining or educated online, or if you have a product or service, these 3 things must inherently be built into them. Stick around for the next course.